Okay. We had a little technical difficulty here, but it's 6:03. I'm calling the Park and Rec June 6th meeting to order. For the Park and Rec attendance, we have Mary Ellen, Ryan, myself, Tim, Brendan, and Don sitting at the table here. And is there a Park and Rec person on the phone right now? No?
Winnie is here.
Oh, Winnie. Okay, yeah, Winnie. Okay, Winnie. Okay, that's good. All right, because Missy can't make it, so I think and Sarah's coming a little bit late, so I think we're ready to go. I have the agenda. Does anybody hear the agenda?
I'm good.
No? Okay. All right. First order of business after the attendance for the Park and Rec people. Thank you, Winnie, for telling us you were there. We're going to look at the previous meeting minutes from the regular Park and Rec meeting on May 2nd. I looked at all the minutes here. There was one thing, I don't think it's a big thing, that I thought was a little bit misunderstood. Under any other new business, it was reported that one day after Mike McGee from HMC placed the safe kayak launch at Haynes Park, the rowers removed it. Don Bugby will reach out to the president of the Rowing Association as soon as possible. Well, I believe it was removed the exact same day it was put out there. It was put out earlier. Don, you were there earlier in the day, and you saw them doing it, and then that same day it was removed and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on the new business, what happened there, who removed it, and what happened. Anybody else with the minutes? No. Okay. Oh, boy, it's a parade going on here now. See? All right, the senior graduation parade outside. Okay, so would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes for May 2nd, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, would someone like to second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Tim, you seconded. Okay, no more discussion, right? All those in favor?
Aye.
Of approving? Yeah.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, anyone opposed? No. Abstain? No. Okay, we're past that. Next thing is security cameras, alarm, connection to the fire department and bathhouse. At the last meeting, we learned from Martha.
The director's report.
Oh, I'm sorry, we skipped over the most important part.
I'll be right back. You want to finish it?
Okay, no, that's okay. Go ahead, director's report, sorry.
All right, no problem. All right, first of all, once again, just as a reminder, Rec Desk registration is required for all Parks and Rec programs, and all of our details for everything we have are listed on Rec Desk and are advertised on Parks and Rec website, Facebook, and Instagram. Spring programs that we had going on that are wrapping up. Zumba toning was wrapped up May 28th. Adult basketball will be June 16th, last day. Our women's basketball will be Monday, June 10th. And the softball program will end Sunday, June 9th. I think all programs in the spring were very successful and were enjoyable to many participants. Our summer day camp, similar to what I reported last time, the camp's going to be June 24th through August 2nd, held at the high school. Camp is open to Lima residents 5 years old or entering kindergarten through 12 years old. Registration has been closed and currently capped at 303 participants. Our aftercare program runs the same time at camp except from 2 to 4. Registration has been closed for a while and is currently capped at 68 participants. Our CAS soccer camps are still scheduled. Ours is scheduled for August 5th through 9th at Townwoods Park. Registration is ongoing. There's various sessions for age groups, stuff like that. As of today, there are currently 37 registered participants. Our basketball camps, we're going to hold 2 camps this year. June 17th through 21st, they're going to be held at the middle school gym. We have both camps are for grades 4 through 9. The boys camp is going to be 8 to 11 a.m. and the girls' camp is going to be 11:30 to 2:30, and there are currently 10 participants in each session. We have yoga on the beach again this year. These sessions run on Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. at White Sand Beach, May 26th through September 1st. The fee is $90 for 5 sessions, or a $20 drop-in fee, and there are currently 6 participants registered. We have some new stuff coming up. We have tennis camps coming up. All sessions will be held at Cross Lane Tennis Courts with a drop-in fee of $15 each time. We have junior tennis, which is for ages 12 through 18 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, July 9th through August 15th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. We have adult tennis 101, Introduction to Tennis, on Mondays, July 8th through August 12th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. And we have adult intermediate doubles tennis on Wednesdays, July 10th through August 14th, 5 to 6:30 p.m. Pickleball. All pickleball sessions are obviously held at the Cross Lane Pickleball Courts. We currently have open play pickleball court times, 10 a.m. to 12 noon on a daily basis. The senior center programs, they have their program for pickleball down there on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12:30 to 3 p.m. We are offering skill clinics on Wednesdays, 12 to 2 p.m., and Saturdays from 8:30 to 10 a.m. with drop-in fee of $10. And Wendy has organized or is organizing a summer pickleball tournament to be held on Saturday, June 29th, rain date June 30th. There will be a rec division, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and a premier division will be 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. Our summer staff has been selected for the most part. A few additional staff members will be added shortly. The hiring process will be completed soon. We will have 50-plus employees this summer, the most ever as far as I've been here. I had an initial preseason meeting with the staff on Saturday, June 1st, to receive and discuss the hiring process, all the paperwork, etc. Parking lot staff has started at both Haynes Park and White Sand Beach. Day camp staff will meet June 17th through 20th for training, organization, and camp setup. And the lifeguard schedule will be developed shortly, and updates will be provided. Our facilities, Townwoods Park, Haynes Park, Cross Lane Park, and White Sand Beach facilities are open and in use on a daily basis by Connecticut River Lacrosse Club, Lima Lime Soccer Club, Lima Lime Little League, District 18 Rowers, O-Lime Rowing Association, Shoreline Sting Softball, Shoreline Breakers Softball, Crush Baseball, and the general public. At White Sand Beach, the lifeguard stand and handicap accessible beach mat have been installed. The beach cleaning process has started at White Sand Beach. Swim lines have not yet been installed at Soundview, White Sand Beach, or Haynes Park. There have been vendor, equipment, and permit issues delaying the installation process. Recently, a group of 100-plus students from Mile Creek School enjoyed the field day on May 24th at White Sand Beach, and another group of about 50 fifth grade students from Mile Creek School will be at Townwoods tomorrow. LYSB has scheduled beach dances throughout the summer, July 2nd through August 13th on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 at White Sand Beach, and they've also scheduled beach bingo on Wednesday, July 17th, and Wednesday, August 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. And the Lima Lime Recreation Department will host a CAS soccer camp at Townwoods Park, June 17th through 21st. That's it.
Okay, anybody have any comments, questions? I just have one, who's doing the beach cleaning this year?
We have a new vendor.
And when are they gonna do it? Like every day or every?
They will. They're doing it a couple times a week now, but shortly it'll start every day, like normally, like we do.
I just wondered, could we, once every couple of weeks, could we get them to do the White Sands Beach or? Not White Sands, but Haynes Park Beach, I mean.
We can ask them about it.
Well, what do you guys think? Just to clean it up every once in a while,
I mean, it depends on cost, right?
Yeah,
I mean, at the ocean beaches, I mean, beaches, there's more for seaweed and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I guess. I'm just thinking, although, as Mary Ellen pointed out, I was away for over a week and a half. When I came back, I've only seen geese at Haynes Park one time. I go by 3, 4, 5 times a day. It seems that there's less. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why, but
Maybe they got more.
in the past, there's goose poops down, just to clean up. Maybe if it gets bad, maybe we could get somebody to clean it every once in a while.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, but I also walked down there, and I noticed for some reason, there doesn't seem to be as many goose poops. I didn't see any on the basketball court or the sidewalks, and normally I see it, and even on the grass, it doesn't seem like there's as much as there used to be. I don't know why, but okay, yeah, maybe we could just look at that. If we need a cleaning or two every once in a while, maybe we could do that.
does
Okay.
that machine do that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a machine, right? Like they're similar to what
I don't
Harry
know what
had.
will pick up that stuff or not, but I'll look into it.
Yeah, okay. All right, anybody else on that?
Well, no, I'll just say one thing, and I think Winnie's on the line. I think it's a great idea about, I don't know if it was Winnie, Don, or both, for the pickleball tournament.
That's all her.
What a great idea. I've never played pickleball, and I saw the flyer.
I saw you signed up.
I signed up, and so as a result, I thought I need to go down and start playing this game. So I've been down there. I went down when I brought the kids down, and I'm partnering with Brady Sheffield, and we went down one night. What a scene down there it is. People love that sport.
Yeah.
They have chairs set up,
Yeah.
radios,
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole thing, and it's really nice, and it's a fun game. So I look forward to it, and I don't know, it was a great idea. So
Are your kids teaching you how to play or what?
I don't know how to play bobsled.
Yeah, I
don't
know.
the
The
rules.
kids probably know
I'm
how.
asking everybody there, how do you...
What are the rules?
Yes, what are the rules? And so I'm learning as I go.
Yeah, Brendan, you have about 3 weeks to figure it out.
I'm on it now.
Josh and I look forward to taking you guys on.
Okay, good.
Okay, Brendan, we don't want you to embarrass anybody.
I don't think we're going to embarrass anybody. I think the concern is not to be embarrassed. That's
I wouldn't
You
play
guys,
Winnie then.
you guys would be great. Oh, I bet they're good. I bet they're really good. The nice thing about pickleball, it's such an easy sport to learn.
Yeah, it's I have my legs hurt now as I'm getting older and everything, and you can still play that game.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
You're not even that old.
well, unlike basketball, if I'm running up and down that court, I won't be able to walk the next day. It's
Yeah.
a fact of life now. But with pickleball, you
Yeah.
can really get out there and move, and
Oh, yeah.
it's a brilliant game.
I don't think you're playing hard
It's so
enough.
fun.
Maybe not.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, I had to quit full court basketball 48
Hey,
years
Ryan, I don't see you signed up yet.
I'm not
What?
signed up. I maybe Winnie. Maybe.
Come on, Lee, get in there, man. I will say this, though, too. What I was surprised at winning, and then I'll leave it, the emotions run high in that game with the people that are down there. My goodness.
Oh, man. Yeah, the pickleball players get territorial and very particular,
Yes.
but it's fun.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
So,
The thing is,
Yeah.
if you want to talk about using our facilities, there are people there all the time.
all the time.
Been
All
down
the
there for
time.
baseball
Awesome.
at all hours of the day.
Yeah.
Bringing my kid
Yeah.
to the basketball court. There's always people playing.
Yeah,
Like I think
great.
it's
We
awesome.
we probably should have put in 4 more courts.
They would be used, that's for sure.
They would be used, yeah.
Yeah. How about the tennis courts? Does anybody play tennis anymore? Or do
Yeah.
they play ball?
Yeah,
I have
those
seen
are
some
getting
people
used
playing
too.
tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The job that they did down there with the basketball courts, tennis courts, and pickleball, it looks great.
It really does.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah.
job. And thanks to Don was working on that for 3 years.
It's going, Don. Really, like, it looks awesome.
Talking to the town fathers and mothers to provide the money to do that big project. Over 3 years you collected money, right? Yeah. Okay. And so we'll move on, I guess. Okay. So the old business, security cameras, alarm, connection to fire department at bathhouse. We heard from Martha last meeting that they're only going to do the police department and this building at this time for security cameras hooked up to the cloud. As we go through the next year, if we get some funds, which Martha said we were getting at Park and Rec, she quoted me $30,000 for Park and Rec projects, that maybe we can revisit that if we do get funding.
So there's really nothing new since last meeting?
No, nothing's changed. Although, if we do get the money that she said we were supposed to get, we might explore this further, okay? That's all I'm saying. Okay, the approved pavilion site at the current swing site. Okay, I asked the last couple of meetings, whether or not people wanted to go with stamped concrete for the pad. Just as a refresher, it's 12 by 22 foot pavilion. The pad will be 14 by 24 feet. If anyone wanted to see what stamped concrete looks like, inside the field house at Town Woods Park is stamped concrete that has they put a coating of some sort of, I don't know, protection over it. After all these years, not quite 20 years for that, maybe 16 years, it still looks pretty good, stamped concrete. Did anybody look at the stamped concrete? Did anybody know what stamped concrete looks like?
I know what it is.
Yeah, it looks much nicer than just regular concrete. So what I was thinking about is getting an estimate for regular concrete base versus stamped concrete base. We could ask Macknick Brothers. I also know another guy that's a concrete guy. We could ask around and see what the difference is, and if Park and Rec wants to go, because the stamped concrete is obviously going to cost more, that we could make that decision once we get a couple figures, and I'll hopefully get some figures and relay them to everybody. Does that sound good?
Good plan, Bob.
Does that sound good? Okay. So I'll try and get that together. Okay, the ADA path outside of reinforced turf, I only heard one other idea, was the mats that are laid down like at White Sands Beach, so handicapped people can access the water. I didn't think that was the greatest idea. I don't know what anybody else thinks. Because we need 3-foot wide path to both the pavilion and the playscape. Anybody have any ideas other than the one idea is reinforced turf?
I prefer the reinforced turf.
I think so, because
I think it looks more natural, but I don't know how someone that is handicapped might feel. I don't know if one.
I don't know if we can find out if the public works guys could do that, Don. I don't know. We'll have to ask them and see if we get the material, could they install it?
Were you also talking about the beach mat, like at the beach mat?
Yes.
Go down to the water?
Yes.
Well, that has to come from the parking space all the way down to the water.
At the beach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I think Martha mentioned putting that type of thing from the parking lot at Haynes Park to the pavilion and
Then
the
to the
playscape.
beach?
And not to the beach. I
thought you said that's what you said, to the water.
No, I'm saying that the material you use at this time to go to the water at White Sands Beach, I don't think, well, we can talk about that, whether or not it's necessary to put it.
You need that to the three places? To the water, to the...
Yeah, maybe, but I don't see a whole lot of adults swimming down there, unless maybe when we make the swim area a little bigger, we'll get more adults. In the last year, it became the size of a kiddie pond, like kiddie pool. So maybe if more adults swim down there, maybe we could talk about that too, for a separate thing.
What's the adult aspect of that? I'm just curious.
What do you mean? It was so shallow that you saw mostly just kids.
No, I'm just curious, like, what do adults have to do with the mat? Is it
It would be
for
anybody
adults
handicapped.
or?
Well, the mat would be for handicapped people that are adults.
But I
Kids
think
too,
what
I
Ryan
guess.
means, it would also be the same for kids, right?
Yeah, I'm just curious if we've ever gotten any complaints about access to the water there, or if we
No.
need mats, or...
We never got any complaints for access to White Sand Beach either,
Gotcha, okay.
but they bought one.
Yeah.
They bought one for Soundview, where there's getting a ton of complaints about it.
They're getting complaint, why? Because it's just,
Well, the way it exits the parking lot and stuff like that, gets down there off the sidewalks and stuff, they have problems with it down there,
yeah, plus the beach
which
is,
I'm not involved with, so I don't know.
yeah, the beach is very narrow.
Not
yeah, so-
even getting to the beach yet, they're trying to get it from the parking lot to the beach, let alone from the sidewalks to the water.
Oh, my God.
But it's not ours, so.
Okay, all right, that's good. One less thing to worry about. Okay, so, well, Don, if we could ask, I got a figure from Macnic about, I don't know, $1,500 for a roll of the reinforced material. That I think that would work out fine if we could install that in the fall and actually grow grass, if we install it correctly. And anybody else have an idea on the paths to that?
What's a roll, Bob? I thought that
roll
like
the-
concrete things with dirt in it and they grow grass. No?
I don't know if it comes in a
it
roll or whatever. It comes in some sort of bulk quantity. And he
okay.
said, and without knowing how much we need, like, that's why I'm saying if we get Public Works involved and maybe see if they can do it and find out how much we need, we can get price on that. And if they can't do it, do we have to hire somebody to do it? I don't know if it's in a roll. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but he said they bought one time for $1,200 or something. I don't know how much it was, and we didn't measure how much we need. And so, anyway, so let's look into that, and we'll ask Public Works if they could do that. And if that's the case, there's a little section about 3 feet from the sidewalk to the reinforced turf at the boathouse that we need a section of that, because before we had the problem with the stream of water coming down there, because of the way it was improperly installed, that driveway. But now we've fixed that driveway, and so we can put an additional 3 feet in to get to the other reinforced concrete that we would do at that time. Okay. All right. Any other questions on that? No? Okay. Next one, the survey for Haynes Park. We got an email from Sarah saying that she's contacted the BSC people about that and gave them their information, and hopefully they'll incorporate it. So we'll have a survey for that. I don't know, whenever, next month or so. Okay. All right, so next is goose mitigation, and Sarah is not here now, but if you'll all recall, when I got back from my vacation on Monday or Tuesday, I passed around a lot of information. I emailed a lot of information to everybody. The next day or so, Sarah provided a lot of information. I hope everybody got a chance to read, if not all of it, most of it. I think that two really useful pieces of information was one from Bristol, Connecticut, where they decided not to use Roundup and euthanizing geese because of the public outcry. And in fact, one of the things Sarah says, it's probably used as a last resort of any community. And however, I did not find any community in Connecticut that is using Roundup and
You say Roundup, you mean they round
they
them?
round them up, yeah, that part. Now, the addling of eggs, I think more people might do that as a form of birth control and oiling eggs. And we got information Sarah provided from the Rogers Lake people that they got the permitting for that, but they were too late to do that for this season, but they plan to do it next season. So that should be helpful. But a lot of the gooselings are killed by predators. Not too many make it. Oh, here she is. Hi, Sarah. I'm just going over the general approaches that you provided and I provided to the group. And the one from Bristol is very good. I think maybe we should include this. Everybody saw that? This one? And they summarized the approaches they've looked at, I don't know what they're going to do, but I know that at their last meeting, they decided not to do the roundup and the euthanizing. And they also said that unless you change the environment, even if you round up and get rid of the geese that are currently using it, other geese are going to come in unless you change the environment, which is really crucial, I think, in getting rid of them, because they say that, they love, I'm sure, nesting on those. The best places to nest are on little islands in lakes, because there's less predators to go out there, and it's harder for people to get out there. However, as Sarah pointed out, and speaking to the Rogers Lake people, they're going to start, they got 4 out of the 5, they contacted 4 of the 5 landowners of the private islands, and so hopefully they'll do that next spring, right, Sarah? That's the plan, right?
To be in touch with them.
The Rogers
Yes,
Lake
to be in
Authority, because that's not really, that's not on town property, so either
Yeah.
private homeowners or they give Rogers Lake Authority to do that, so that would be good. So I think we should include this. I also provided this from, which also, this one is a summary of all the different techniques, vegetative barriers, rock barriers, fencing, some things that aren't really practical for an area like Haynes Park where you need access to get to the water and stuff.
There's also the Cross Lane Pond.
And, well, there's Cross Lake Pond and...
Multiple adults and like 8 babies there right now.
Oh, yeah, I did see some
Crap all
geese
over
there.
the
In
baseball
fact,
field.
I found more, since I've been gone, a week and a half, and I got back Memorial Day weekend, that I haven't seen as many geese. And Mary Ellen, you also at down Haynes Park.
I haven't there, but my concern is we seem to focus on the park with all this information, but it's other places.
But, you know,
To me, though, it's overwhelming to think of all the things you might have to do, like plantings and...
oh, no, it is overwhelming.
I would personally just rather rely on the professionals because...
For instance, there's not that many at Townwoods Park right now either.
Right, that's what you mentioned.
But in the fall,
yeah,
they're going to be crapping all over that field.
yes. And can we just wait to go over? I have an idea that I'd like to have the group focus on. Because as some of these overviews state, roundups and euthanizing are the last resort, and it's one of the reasons is because of the political pressure communities are under to not do something like this, and that's what happened at Bristol. Sarah had a very nice summary of the information she gave us. And Sarah, I mean, I can read. I thought it was excellent what you kind of, not only the information you provided that the Department of Agriculture or whoever provided to you. I thought this one was really good. This was a 1997 report on managing urban Canadian geese. And the one thing about the geese is they eat the grass, whereas most other birds don't eat grass. So what you do to the grass seems to just affect geese, that other birds don't eat grass. Okay, so Sarah provided a couple of nice things. I think Sarah's summary should be added to the minutes. Is that okay with you, Sarah?
If you think it's appropriate, I don't know. I feel it.
You don't think it's appropriate?
It's fine with me either way.
What do you guys think?
I don't know what the reason to add this summary is compared to any other.
I would
communication
wait.
that we
To me, I would wait,
include
because
in
people
our-
are gonna read one thing and then,
Okay,
I
so,
think what we should have, would put here.
so should we just maybe include this one, because this is current, what happened in Bristol? Everybody got this from me. Okay, yeah. Should we just include this one on this report, and if anybody wants additional, we can provide all
I'm
this
not
other
sure if
stuff?
we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot if that's the route we plan to go. I don't know.
Well, this is
I'm
what...
just trying to think how people are.
Oh, I know, there'll be public outrage if we are actually killing geese. It happens wherever it's happened. In fact, in New Jersey, I read a report where some community did it, and then after 3 or 4 years, they stopped doing it because you can't get rid of them. They just keep on coming. And, but although they do reduce the population in the short term, unless you change the environment, one family of geese leaves, another's gonna come in.
What do
That's
you
just-
mean when you say change the environment in relation to our 3 parks of interest? When you say that, like, what is your concrete thought around how we implement that to make a change?
Okay, well, of course, yes, I thought that, you also talked about potential habitat modification and...
Okay, so that's what you mean, like
Yeah, and the more,
habitat mod?
yeah.
Okay.
Change the environment, because to make it so it's inhospitable for geese.
But like going on 5 islands and planting Pachysandra or ivy?
No.
Or things we know they don't eat? Like, how pervasive are you thinking on that?
I'm thinking, well, first of all, that if people have problems on their own property, that's theirs to solve, not ours. Although I think people on Rogers Lake would have less of a problem if we could not only, if the Rogers Lake Authority uses corn oil on the eggs to reduce the number of baby geese, that I think that also what they talk about in some of these reviews is removing the nest, so that all of a sudden, like, the geese are going, oh my God, we make a nest and it gets removed. So I think that's one thing that maybe Rogers Lake Authority may be able to do. We can talk to them about it. That just to make it so it's not, it's very, sometimes we get sparrows in a bluebird box and I remove the nest and they build them up again, then I remove them and they build them up again, then finally they stop.
Well, I think
coming
there's
in.
also people on the lake that live on the lake that have said, a couple I've heard, said, you guys are gonna, if you don't fix the problem and you just make it uncomfortable for the birds, they're just gonna go beyond everybody's yard. So, you know, there's different ways to look at that. I mean, I don't like killing animals, but I just think that it's a big problem.
Oh, it's a huge problem. And
I don't feel that we're professional enough to do that on our own.
No, that's-
Your contacts have been fantastic, you know, like.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna go that route.
I don't feel like this commission that we really can make, those are big decisions and expensive.
Yes, and that's the other thing. Although it can be expensive, like I'm going to get to the one about not pesticide or herbicide that uses actually an ingredient, anthraquinone. It's found in many plants and used for medical use. That's not harmful, even to the geese. It just makes their stomachs upset. But I would like to talk about that in just a minute, because I think this might be something we may be able to try, along with what goes on next year with the coating of the eggs and maybe removing nests from those islands.
Bob, can I interrupt you for a minute? I guess that if the Rogers Lake Authority does not, or the people who own the island do not remove the nest, I guess I don't want to, whatever it is that we do, I don't want to rely on other people to have to do something. You know what I mean? So, like, if, for example, the people who own the islands out there, if they decide not to do whatever, I I guess that what I'm trying to say, and I'm being inartful and I apologize, I think we have to deal with this as if it's going to be a problem, regardless, and I guess I'm just as blunt as I can be.
Okay, here's another example. When we had the guys come out they talked about Adling and from, what's the official organization?
Department of Agriculture.
Yes,
Wildlife.
that we had Zach, I forget Zach's last name, come out, and we pointed out part of the problem, say, at Town Woods Park may be the number of nestings that take place at the pond over at the riding place. Because they like to nest around ponds, and that's why, like, the islands out there are ideal because they're isolated and
I
understand. But it's private property, Brenda. So
and I agree.
So I don't think we can actually do that unless you get the consent of the people that own that property, correct?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't even think that we should or even attempt to engage in something that's not within the confines of Haines, Town Woods, and
Cross Lake, right,
jurisdictionally.
right.
But I don't know.
Brendan, when you say we have to treat it like it's a problem, what do you mean by that in terms of the reaction of the people, or?
No, I guess what I'm trying to say, Sarah, is, well, I guess, Bob, I don't know where it is that you were going, but I was just trying to think, if the people in Rogers Lake decide not to do anything about this, I guess that we shouldn't make our decision as to how it is that we're going to proceed in hopes that they're going to do something else too.
Right, I agree, and we haven't got to that part yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I apologize then for
Yeah, okay, I agree, there's lots of things you can do, but we should only be concentrating on what we can do on the park property, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so, and the biggest thing is, even if you get rid of the geese, or sometimes they try to take geese from one area and put them to the other, and they find out that the geese find their way back to the original area. So a lot of that stuff doesn't work unless you kill the geese, which is not a humane thing to do, but one of the approaches. The other approach was, and I wanted everybody to really take a look at this Flight Control Max, okay? This was developed in I've been here since 1996, and Don thinks sometime maybe before that, Ron Rose and somebody tried some sort of, probably the other product that was around at that time.
Yeah, I don't know what the product was called. It came out of the health department. They're the ones who,
Yeah,
the Parks and Rec people sprayed it on.
well, that shouldn't be, professionals should be the only ones doing this
What year
stuff.
was that, Don, roughly?
Way back in the
30
90s.
years ago or something.
It was a problem 30 years ago, and here we
Oh,
are
it's been a
30
problem,
years
it just gets worse and worse, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, anyway, I hope everybody read about this, because one of the, well, first of all, it's a humane way to do it, but it is not harmful to people, it's not harmful to other birds. As I said, Canadian geese are special, they're the only ones that seem to like grass. One of the things they said is not to cut the grass all the time, to try and make grass longer. They don't like really long grass because it's harder to see. But I'm not saying we should grow grass really long, because of course on sports fields you can't do that. But however, this product, which was only developed back in 1997, is the number one selling product. And like I said, it's got this compound in it that's found in many plants, grasses, and has many medical uses, and it doesn't agree with the geese. They get stomach and GI discomfort. It's not harmful to people. It's not harmful to other birds, because the birds don't eat grass. And the beauty of this, they claim, and I've seen reviews that says it's great, it works. I've seen reviews that says it doesn't work. The majority of reviews says it does work to some extent, is because it's not only the ingredient, the natural ingredient that gives them stomach discomfort. But geese have more photoreceptors and stuff than people and can actually see ultraviolet. So they would actually see grass that looks like this with little spots. We can't see it. So you would not notice anything on the grass except to a geese. So what's important with any of these mitigation techniques is that the geese learn that it's not a hospitable environment. So when the geese apparently, after 3 days, it's reported that there's an 80% reduction in geese that use the areas that you put this stuff on.
And if I read, didn't it say it does have to be reapplied after?
Yes. Now,
that was the other thing that is
okay.
Constant. I mean, who's going to do all that?
I've got companies around here that will do this, okay? And I don't think anybody should really worry about, although it is expensive, the solution to buy this, and then of course you need a professional. They should have never had Park and Rec people putting it on way back when. But how much do we used to spend, Don, like on geese with the dogs and all? Like, wasn't it like $20,000-$30,000 or something?
Well, yeah, it was a lot. I think it was, well, I forget what was in the budget that they took out again. I forget.
Yeah, I think it was
like,
Park too,
I think it was for all the parks.
we added another 5,000, I think, for Cross Lane, and
Yeah,
for sake of talking tonight, it was $20,000 to $30,000.
right. Okay, so the town has spent money trying to take care of this problem, and we did the dog thing for a number of years, and it just didn't work. I mean, it was just.
Why do you think it didn't work?
Well, one thing is because they do learn that when the woman's car would pull into the parking lot, the geese would then leave the park. Now,
So just to play devil's advocate here, the dog created an inhospitable environment.
right.
So do we not think that geese won't learn that after it rains and we haven't reapplied for a week,
Okay.
that now it is a hospital environment again?
Okay.
We're not going to apply this stuff every time it rains.
Back to the dogs, if you don't mind. The people would not put their dogs in the water. The first woman did for a while, but then she stopped, and the second woman wouldn't put her dogs in the water. So, because of the weeds and stuff,
Yes.
for whatever reason. Maybe she couldn't control them once they're in the water, I don't know, but they weren't in the water. So the geese would walk off the grass and go past the docks and wait.
Right.
They're not dumb, is the point.
Yeah, they can learn. They can learn, and that's why it's almost similar to the invisible fence for dogs. You know, it works. When I had dogs, I used it, and the dogs learn real quick, and they're given an audio cue before when they get close to getting to where they would get incremental shocks. They learn real quick, and so apparently, according to the literature on this Flight Control Max, 80% of them kind of learn within 3 days. Now, they could walk through there, but they're not going to be eating the grass, and they're not going to be pooping as much, and you do have to keep up on it. Now, they claim that unless it rains 1 inch or more, which we've been getting a lot of rainstorms these days.
Which happened almost every day this spring.
Yeah. Well, we lucked out last night. We hardly got any rain when they said we're going to get a lot of rain. But that it doesn't wash off, and it actually can go through 2 to 3 lawn cuttings before you have to reapply it. And the maximum amount of times you would apply it during the whole year is 7 times.
That's the maximum?
That's what I don't know if anybody read this. I read it, and this thing is pretty involved about that this and this, it's all under that site for Flight Control Max, is you need professionals to do this. You need certain spray heads to do this. You have to keep the mixture mixed. They even say avoid dragging hoses over the treated area. And you have to apply with a properly calibrated sprayer. Now, unless you get a lot of rain, it doesn't wash off. And in fact, if you put it on right before the winter, it actually survives the winter, they say. And we haven't tried this particular product. And Salem Safe Lawns, who actually takes care of my irrigation system, there are professionals that do this, spray this type of stuff. Save a Tree, Save a Lawn in Old Saybrook does it. Some of those, you see the people that get the big trucks with the sprayers. I don't know what the companies are called. They do it too.
Save a Tree guy lives right
Huh?
Save a Tree guy lives right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
So if these local companies are doing this, do
Yes.
they have any clients in this area that they are spraying this product on?
Well, this is what I was going to ask all you guys, members here, if we should at least pursue finding out from the people that do it, a couple of the people that do it, and how effective it is, especially in this area, and that if it is effective in a, quote, dry run or spray run at Haynes Park, that area, the grass is not that big, really. What would you say it is?
In my opinion, Haynes Park is the smallest problem.
I agree. It's cross lanes in town woods.
You can't play baseball on the baseball field. I mean, they have to.
Guys, I agree, but it would be nice to at least try one spot to see if it works rather than all the spots. And if it was to work this year, then we could talk to the town about doing it at Town Woods Park, at Cross Lane. The expense of doing those bigger areas will be involved. But if we could show success doing it in a small test area, which would be Haynes Park, I think that once the town heard about, if we saw success with it, we would then want to do this at all the Townswood Park and also Mile Creek, because that around that pond, that's where they are. That this might be one thing we could do, as well as addling the eggs by the Rogers Lake Authority, and maybe removal of some of those spots, or we can hire Zach's people to do this at some of the spots next year.
At Adeling?
Yeah.
I agree with Brendan. I don't think we can depend on other people to volunteer their time to...
Oh, no,
hopefully
that's
do
why
it
I'm
at the
saying
right time.
professionals have to be hired to do this. I totally agree with that. I would not
Sarah,
have...
you have stuff, you have information, right?
Yes, Sarah, I'd like to hear you.
That's what I'm wondering, if we should listen to what she, I think so.
Before we get too far in there, so a place like Townwoods Park, remember, it's irrigated a lot.
Yeah.
Right, so it's going to be hard for this to work there.
What's that?
It's going to be very hard for this to work there because of all, if you
The Little League field is irrigated too.
Oh, so unless,
And if we do Haynes Park, the geese are just going to go all over people's yards. They're not going to go anywhere else. They're just not going to go into our grass, and we're not really helping the problem. They might just fly over to...
well, then we could suggest to private homeowners to get somebody to do it at their home.
I don't think you're going to, I just think that, again, back to what Brendan said, I think we have to take care
But
of...
you're right, because people that do it at their private properties say that, yes, they leave my property and then go over to somebody else's property.
But I think to that point, if we do it on the town properties that we have jurisdiction over, if they go to the neighbor's property...
We can tell them I did that with Milky Spore when I...
Yeah,
But
sorry.
there's nothing, we can't control that.
Right, well,
The geese are gonna move regardless.
they're going to go to the nearest place where there's nice grass to chew on and eat. But I have a similar story about that. A Milky Spore, which works in central New Jersey on getting rid of moles and all that stuff. It's called Milky. It's a natural product. I lived in a community of 9 homes on 30-some-odd acres, and I put it on my lawn, and I told them, you know, all these tunnels and all, they're all going to leave. which they did, and they went on my neighbor's properties, and all the neighbors said, "What's that stuff you use, Bob?" And this is something that we can inform the public on if all of a sudden we get rid of them at Haynes Park and they start going on more people's lawns there. But it's not our responsibility to take care of their lawns.
No.
Yeah, our responsibility is to take care of the parks. Now, as far as the irrigation goes, if we could irrigate so it's less than an inch of water, I'm sure when we irrigate, we don't put an inch of water down anywhere. I irrigate my lawn 3 times a week, and it's not putting down. I leave it on for 20, 30 minutes at each zone, and it's not putting down tremendous amounts. So it might be able to last because they claim it is waterproof up until 1 inch of rain comes down.
I hear all that, Bob. I mean, Sarah, can you add to this? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I would love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's not novel, right? We've known about this product for 30 years. This product that we've been spending 20 minutes talking about, the flight
Yes.
rep, right? I get it. It might be worth considering in the totality of the multifaceted approach that we take.
Right.
But I will quote the article that I think I refer back to that's most helpful, which informs the report that the committee made on this topic. And we talked about the many of these strategies. And with respect to the chemical repellents, it said they're practical for small lawns, such as those bordering a lake or pond, but not well suited for large expanses of turf. So I think with respect to Cross Lane and Town Woods, it's probably a non-starter because of the irrigation, right? It's $1,250 for 5 gallons, and I think it's probably just throwing good money after bad. But I'm not saying it's not worth trying. Maybe at Haynes Park, where it's a smaller lawn that fits that description, but its effectiveness is fundamentally tethered to the concentration and the durability, which is tied to weather. So I don't think it's the best way to spend the money personally, but I don't rule it out as one element of the strategies.
Well, I agree.
And just in terms of, Brendan's question, I think, like, the final line of this article, which I'll share with all of you if I haven't done it already, is ultimately towns,
Which one are you on? I got your articles here.
Okay. Any successful goose abatement program should include several different non-lethal techniques, and to be successful in the long term must also include some type of lethal removal. Geese are prolific and adaptable, and in urban areas, population levels are well above what humans will tolerate. This was written in 2016, so 8 years ago, and the problem has only escalated. And this is from Deep.
Which article is that? Can you show me the front page?
It's not in this materials.
Oh, you didn't send this to us?
No, this is back from November.
Oh,
like my
okay.
personal research in November.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. This is one of the ones.
But I think, I think what we need to understand is what tolerance do we have to try to at least dialogue and discuss and make a decision on potentially doing the euthanasia type strategies, because we have an opportunity, if we wanted to go that route, to do that in the near term with netting. There's a molt season that's coming up, and that is really the window to do roundups. That being said, there can be netting done throughout the season. That being said, I recognize that there is a large concern about public pushback on this issue, right? The moment that Old Lyme does something, it will become publicized. It will be like what happened in Bristol. And I recognize that. I think, though, it's not black and white. We don't have to do all or nothing right now. But I think it's imperative that we at least take some action. I mean, short of chemicals, right? Like, could we allocate some money to try installing fountains? I don't know what's going on with the pond at, I get all the parks mixed up, Cross Lane. But one thing that has been shown to be effective might be putting something to deter the geese with a fountain, or coyotes, right? These are like the non-lethal methods. This is not my personal preference. I do think we need to do a combination of everything. But if people are going to judge that we jumped right to the extreme, then we build the foundation now and do the things that are like what you spoke of about habitat modification. To the extent that they're workable, it's such a challenge because we have a diverse set of parks, right? Haynes Park, like a fountain and fence barriers during the molt season so that geese can't fly from the water up onto the grass to keep them off of the beach. Like, I think those things will be workable, and we should do those now at Haynes Park. But that, when you think about how to do that based on Cross Lane or Town Woods, like, those are just different challenges because of the way the parks are laid out. But I mean, I'll be honest, we, as a committee, we said we have to hire an expert, and everything the experts have said is you can do these things all day long. Our discussion bears this out. These things being non-lethal strategies, hiring the dogs, hazing, deterrence, and the geese are adaptable, like what I just read. So we, to some measure of success, we can use those. I think to employ a quiver in our belt or in our arsenal of, at a minimum, egg oiling on a comprehensive level at the next opportunity. It's kind of too bad, and I wish that we could have acted this season on that across the board, because I think that that's generally accepted as more humane, to be quite honest,
Oh, yeah, I agree.
than taking a bird. And now, honestly, I don't even want, I am torn because we have so many goslings. You go to all these parks and there's goslings. So doing a roundup now is like honestly the worst time that you could possibly do that in a PR mindset. So we have to just not do that. Like, that's my rec.
I don't think you should do a roundup anyways. I think that would be
But this is the discussion
Totally
we have to
detrimental.
have, because like I don't think that we've all been able to kind of, I'm trying to give information so people can make their opinions and speak their opinions, like, on this issue.
Can I ask, Sarah, when you talk about having a combination of things, it would be the oiling of the eggs, would that be considered a lethal combination?
It is.
Okay.
It is technically considered lethal because it will suffocate the
Right.
hatchling.
Then part two of
But-
that would be,
Yeah.
are the eggs on town property? Generally?
So,
No.
a lot of them are on the island.
Yeah, probably Town Woods Park, you may be able to find, because there is a stream also.
I will say that the place where they are for Town Woods most is at the Equestrian Center.
Right,
for
right, their
therapeutic
pond.
riding, and we
Okay.
spoke to their director, and they were supportive of us going and doing this.
I
They didn't
would-
even ask us to pay for it.
I would say the Cross Lane area has nests there.
Maybe on the rock?
Oh, yeah.
Not on the rock. There's usually ducks out there, and turtles, but,
Yeah.
there's gotta be,
There's gotta be one somewhere.
Yeah.
There's like 8 full-grown babies
Right,
there right now.
yeah, there's definitely on that property, which is town property, okay? The approach is the best, fencing would be nice, okay?
It's like a temporary thing that you do, and maybe it's just
Yeah.
along the edges.
Well, they can actually
Where they
do
come up.
fishing line, at, I forget exactly, 12 inches or 14 inches and 28 inches. You can buy products for 250 feet and just roll out
Just run on.
with that, but you'd have to put some sort of ribbons or something on it, so they can see it, because they say not only, unless you're gonna go full-blown, big 3-foot-high fence, which is not practical for a swimming area. And the other thing they said about swimming areas is, even if you had fences on your lake property to the swim area, you'd have to get huge, much bigger floating things on your line for your swim lines, and that doesn't work, because Don even said that the smaller one, oh, Mary Ellen, you're taking off? Okay.
Thanks, Mary Ellen.
Okay, thanks, Mary Ellen.
We'll see you later.
Okay, that you need oversized floats, because Don, you said before, you've seen them climb right over the little floats.
I mean, Bob, can
Yeah.
I make a suggestion? And I agree with Sarah, and it's an astute point, which is, it's a terrible idea to do a roundup now with the babies around. But can we at least make a decision? Maybe using, and I throw this out there, maybe using Haynes Park as a test site because of its size for what it is that we're talking about. The fencing, temporary, maybe the spray, or something like that, so at least we're kind of doing something.
That's what I would like the commission to agree on. Let's try a smaller project to see what the results are.
But also too, I would add that within what it is that we're talking about now, that, I mean, if we're pretty certain that there are nests at cross lanes.
Oh, yeah, it has to be somewhere.
Somewhere. Whenever it is that those eggs are laid, which I don't know when that.
They already hatched, they're already
Yeah.
almost.
No, I know, but for the next coming season.
March, yeah, for the next coming
March.
season, yeah.
That we start to get a plan in motion so that whoever it is that we're going to hire can go to cross lanes and take care of that then. Because if it is a lethal option, and I think, I don't want to put words in Sarah's mouth, but I think what she's saying is that the most efficient way to do this is to have a multifaceted, a mosaic, if you will, but which includes a lethal option. And if the least intrusive lethal option is to handle the eggs, I think we should try to implement that now, because I don't want to kick the can any more than.
Oh, no, I agree, and that's why I was happy to hear that the Rogers Lake guys got their permits to do this, and they are fully engaged in at least putting the corn oil on the eggs, a form of aniline.
They're not, so that was my mistake. I thought they were too. They did not do any.
No, they didn't do anything
Oh,
this
okay.
year. Yeah,
Yes.
but they want to
Yes,
start
they
next year,
volunteered.
and I agree with that.
But I agree. I think we need to hire the experts.
Yes.
Right.
And if the volunteers want to keep on going out there and doing more,
power
go for it.
Agreed.
If they get the properties to bless it.
Okay, now, okay, I agree, a multifaceted approach and making the area inhospitable,
Can I say
because,
one more thing on the inhospitable?
What?
So I don't forget. Another idea that's humane that people might be acceptable to is, I recognize it's a town ordinance that we don't have dogs at our parks, but if we could lift it for the purpose of people volunteering to bring their dogs at times to chase.
no, that's, I think that would
Was that a
create
yes
a bigger
or a
problem.
nay? Right now, what, yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I love it, except playing softball, there's dog crap in the field at times.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah, so,
There's that, for sure. But if we have responsible owners,
Right.
or maybe
They
owners
have
who
to
want to
sign up.
volunteer, yes. So we have something where,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a sign-up sheet, and these people are, vetted to the extent that they're vetted, but that they would be responsible with their animals to go out there and do it, because people, love to walk their dogs, they love to let them run. When I had, our last dog, which was a puppy, lung capacity was endless. When I would see the geese, it was a blessing. Because if we had her out by the school, she would go forever, and the geese they would be gone.
yes.
People would, I think that would be a great thing. Understood about,
Dog poops.
yes, that's the thing. There's no doubt about it. But, I don't know, to me, that might help too.
I mean, that could be part of our argument against public outcry about other measures, is we'd love to let dogs run around. I mean, off-leash is probably questionable, because people are scared, they attack, like, who knows?
No, you can't have them off leash at parks when you have all little kids around and all that.
Yeah, maybe at designated times.
designated times.
Sure. Early in the morning, early evening, or whatever, however, just so that the geese get a sense that they're not.
What do you think, Don? What do you think? I mean, because we generally have always had a rule, no dogs.
People bring dogs there now.
Yeah.
They do, I mean,
But if you encourage it, there'll be more dogs there.
Well, if it's encouraged with.
Well, you gotta change the town ordinance.
Yeah, with a little bit of oversight. I mean, if, I don't know who has, maybe Martha can just, a flick of the pen can take care of that, and it's something that.
No, we would be the
hopefully
ones,
take heat off of her, potentially.
we would be the ones to make that decision.
On the town ordinance, or whether to recommend?
The ordinance says that we make the decisions, 20-8, for the town parks.
Okay, yeah, agreed.
Even though the town ordinance is the rule that forbids dogs, we can change the town ordinance?
I believe so. We'd have to get a lawyer.
I thought that was why it was called a town
We
ordinance.
have 2 lawyers here, though.
Issued by the town.
Huh?
Sorry, I just thought it was like a town law that we didn't have authority to change, but I don't remember.
I wouldn't think we could do
I
that.
would think the
but-
Board
I
of
wouldn't
Selectmen
think
would have
so.
some play on that,
I
but.
think,
yeah,
I think
could be
the
wrong.
town ordinance about dogs is not under the Parks and Recreation stuff. It's just in the town ordinance book.
I think it-
Oh, that's a 20-8. It's got a special town ordinance somewhere about
It's
dogs.
nothing to do with 20-8.
I know.
It's a separate thing. Dogs going at large and all sort of stuff.
I actually think that maybe Crush Lane and Town Woods would be the dog. But Haynes Park, maybe we could try some of the other
Yeah.
things that we want to do.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Small enough that we can try the spraying whatever, but the other ones are bigger.
Yes.
Anyone else agree that there's going to be public outcry about spraying stuff all over the grass that kids are running around on? There's going to have to be an educational component to that too.
Well,
Yeah.
this is, they can read all about it. I've got all the material on that, and not only from this company, but other material on it. And that, it's not harmful to people, you can't see it, you can't smell it, which the first pesticide, what do you call it, herbicide maybe they used, you could smell it, people could smell it, you can't smell this, you can't see it.
Bob, can I ask you a question?
But-
Who's saying that it's not harmful? The people who make it, or is this like a FDA thing? Like who,
It was,
you know what I mean?
I can get you some articles on that, but it actually
I
wasn't
mean,
even,
that question is the basis of what I was just saying.
Yeah.
People aren't just going to believe, like, oh, you can spray crap all over the grass and it's healthy.
Yeah.
it was also, oh, here it is. It was also in this 2013 report that I sent to everybody, that there are sprays that are not harmful to people. And that would be,
Are they harmful to dogs?
no. It's, no.
Seemingly organic.
Unless a dog eats a lot of grass. Anybody's had a dog that eats grass, usually they eat it and they throw up because they have some stomach disorder to start with.
The dogs aren't supposed to be on the parks anyway, right?
Right, and the dogs aren't supposed to
No,
be.
but if we let them on there and then they eat the sprayed grass, then we got a bigger problem.
Look, I mean, I don't want to belabor this, and I think it's for everybody, but I like the multifaceted approach, and I also feel that maybe the best way for the lethal aspect to be employed is getting after the eggs. We missed it this year, fair enough, but starting in March, we go after it to the extent that we have, they're on our property there. I just kind of throw that out there. If people disagree, I understand and appreciate it. That's my thought on it, and I feel like that's a very safe compromise.
I think the Adeling is. I think when you talk about roundups and euthanizing, and that becomes a touchier subject.
It may need to be touched upon if this shows zero benefit. But
Most of the gooseling things, if you read about it, natural predators get those little baby geese.
they're very efficient down at Cross Lane, I tell you that. That mom, she does a good job.
Oh, there's a lot of them still.
There's 4 adults, 6 fully grown babies, and there was another adult up on the field.
Every year, Ryan, and you see it, I count them. And every year, the count is the same when those things get older. So whatever it is that those parents do, they figured it out. So I don't know. They're very efficient. I don't know.
I also, right before I left down to the Outer Banks, I was down there on a rainy-ish day, and two families of geese, they probably each had at least six little goose babies. So there's 14 goose babies and 4 adults down there. I don't know why, but as Mary Ellen said, I haven't seen them down there lately. Are you still recording?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so I don't know why. It's just for some reason they're not showing up there. But I think yes. What approaches would you like to try? I mean, I would like to at least contact professionals that apply this and see if they've had any results in this area with using this product. Okay. I'd also like to find out whether or not they've had any success in, say, situations where there's irrigation. Because if you keep the irrigation down, I know we're not putting an inch of water on when you irrigate a certain part of your field or your property.
Agreed.
And if this stuff can stay on through 2 to 3 cuttings, I would also suggest that at least for Haynes Park, how often they cut the grass down there, Don? Every week?
At least.
Yeah, that we don't need the grass cut because they like the shorter grass better. Let's just do it twice a month or something. We don't need the grass cut every week down there. Whereas you need it on fields, athletic fields, you need to control the grass height. So, would it be okay with the group if I contact some of the professionals, find out how it works around here, if I get prices for at least trying this in a small area of grass at Haynes Park? We could try, now, I don't know how it would work to put up the fishing line, which is probably the cheapest way of doing fencing, fishing line that's on post, 18 inches and, I don't know, 30 inches high, that could go right up to the swim area at Haynes Park. We could try it there. We're not going to be able to do this at Haynes Park or Mile Creek because it's a huge area. We have a fence right now that goes on, as you enter Townwoods Park, on the left-hand side, there's a stream back there. And that Knutson, who had a house on the other side of that stream, who had a fencing operation, we put a fence the entire length of Townwoods Park on our part of the property. So we have a fence there. There's a fence that goes from the parking lot by the senior center all the way to the woods, but it doesn't go through the woods. So I don't know how you would fence off that area, but we may be able to talk the riding place into doing something with their pond, because that's obviously a spot where they're coming from, or one of the spots at least.
Yeah, I just don't know how you do it in a small pond. Like, are you proposing cross lane? Like, if you fence the cross lane perimeter.
No, you couldn't, no, I'm not
Okay.
suggesting that at
Okay.
all. I'm
But I'm not
suggesting that corn oil on eggs.
No,
And
with respect to fencing, where were you imagining the fences?
at Haynes Park, I imagine they
Okay,
did some plantings by where the
Yeah.
one neighbor is over there. From there, all the way to where the swim area is, and then from the swim area to the docks, in between the docks, and then
Is
over.
that just gonna funnel them to walk on the sand and crap all over the beach?
Right, I'm getting a little worried.
Yeah, but the problem is, the beach, they won't eat sand, so they won't go over the beach as
They
much.
poop on the sand all the time. They just walk across the beach to get to the grass.
And most of the sand is grass.
I don't know.
Okay, but if you,
Yeah, I'm
if
thinking
you want to,
scratch the fence idea potentially,
Well,
but
I don't know what the
all right.
fence does. Like, the geese fly into the baseball field at Cross Lane. That has nothing to do with water or anything else.
well, it would only have something to do during the
Well, the
molting
fence
season
is
where they
the
can't fly. During the molting
But-
season, you could maybe fence out the ones that are going to swim in. But I agree with you, after that, the fence is kind of useless. So, that's why
When is molting season? And I'm with everyone.
Mid-June,
We're belaboring this?
July.
Okay.
the molting season
Mid-June.
coming up at the end of this month, and then
Yeah,
through July or something.
Last week of June until July.
Okay, so from what I'm hearing, I could inquire of professionals about their success with this, and maybe we could try it on a limited basis to
Do
see.
you think, Bob, finding out where they have sprayed this and then talking to those clients to understand how it worked on their property? Because Salem's gonna be like, yeah, this stuff works great. Like, how do they know?
Yeah, well, I could ask for references, yeah. I think we have, as Brendan pointed out, and everybody here agrees, we have to do something. So I think that to show that we're doing something is better than not doing anything.
I agree, but I mean, go, by all means, investigate. See what you can find as a relates to
Yeah,
that.
and because we could probably get, if it's 7 applications during a season is what normally is the max, maybe we could get 3 applications of this in. And we'd have to find out whether or not it it works after a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
But they say it works unless you have deluge of rain. And I don't think, and I can find out whether or not it works on athletic fields that are irrigated, if anyone's got experience, but I didn't want to contact anybody, professionals, definitely not park and rec people to do it, or definitely not for us to only, or definitively say it's going to work. To try it on a small basis down at Haynes Park.
Okay, and then in conjunction with that, can we also try at Haynes Park installation of coyotes, fountains,
You mean the coyote?
noise-making devices?
We've already done that with the noise. It doesn't work.
Okay, but
What-
back to the point of we're all just trying the same things we already know don't work.
Sarah, when you say
So why don't we do it to at least build a case for why it might be important to do more than what we're doing?
So are you talking about coyotes? The
Coyotes.
Coyote cutouts. No.
Cutouts. Like,
Cutouts.
Like, you know, if you're at Fresh
Okay,
Salt, not the actual one.
And that may be a good idea, especially if we move the coyote cutouts every once in a while, because if you don't move them, they learn real quick.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, these things not so much money. I mean, we'll work with the rowers on the fountains, maybe. I don't know.
Out of the fountains, they say that in the wintertime, if you're on lakes, it's better to turn the fountains off.
Well, that's not the point.
Huh?
That's not her point.
Well,
Her point is to do something so when they say, well, what are you doing? Say, well, we tried this and we tried this.
Try the woman with the dogs. There was a light down at
So
park.
at least there's an
Anything
effort to do something for sure.
Yeah, we've tried a lot of this stuff, and it doesn't work.
Well,
But
but I think I think Sarah's point is that we need to at least try again, or we need to round them up and kill them. Because what?
But we also
need fun, because otherwise,
one thing at a time is going to do nothing. We have to do all of it.
All of it at once, which I don't think we have tried all of it at once.
so I think that we can get going on.
we could, okay, so we could try a spray at Haynes
Yeah,
Park. We could try getting a couple coyote cutouts
Love
and
that.
put them down there at Haynes
Yeah.
Park. Haynes Park can kind of be the trial run to see how effective it is. We're going to have Rogers Lake Authority put the corn oil on the eggs.
That's next year, but I think
Yeah, we can't do that this year because it's past that time.
Yeah.
So, but to do that, we can say that they're going to do that next spring when the nesting season is. If we could talk to some professionals about, or maybe just if the Rogers Lake Authority have a permit, do they have a permit to remove nest? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
That you could maybe, because if you could remove because the ideal nesting place are islands on lakes, because their natural predators can't get there as easily. So if we could talk to them about maybe not only once the egg season is over, removing the nest. I know it works with birds. If you have a birdhouse enough, you keep on removing the
But
nest.
do they even use the nest anymore after the eggs hatch? Or after
I
the
don't
egg
know.
season or whatever?
I don't know.
I don't know how it is if you take the whole nest, but when you take the eggs, they lay more, and that's why you oil, so that the mother sits on eggs that aren't viable.
Right.
So I would think that I'm not sure about removing a nest, why they wouldn't just build a new nest and lay more eggs, but I can ask.
They will.
They will. They will, but
I
you have to keep on them. That's the
think,
point.
and to Brendan's point about having a plan, I mean, March of next year will be here before we know it.
Agreed.
I'd like to ask the USDA contact that I have to give us a cooperative services agreement, limited just to the pricing for doing the oiling at all 3 locations.
Yes.
They also provide hazing services, like they will bring a trained dog. I know that we've done it in the past to no success, but I just want to throw it out there. I can have them add it as a line item to do that. If we're not successful getting the town ordinance lifted to try our own dogs out. But that way we get the pricing, we get the money allocated, we have everything kind of ready for this.
Unless the dogs, if professional dogs, about the dogs, if professional dogs, what are they, border collies or something, don't work, I agree that if geese are there and they see a dog, they're going to move. but would, you
I
know.
get it. I'm just telling you the information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I will do that.
So, okay, it's the consensus here that we're going to look into the U.S. Department of Agriculture, at least putting corn oil on the eggs in the nest for next March. Okay, that's one thing we're going to do.
Great.
We're going to also encourage the Rogers Lake Authority to do what they can do on those islands out there, because that's private property. We can't do anything about that, but if they can, through their jurisdiction, that would be great.
And if they get permission from the property owners, that service can be done by the professionals.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Yeah, they can, unless the Rogers Lake guys wanna do it, but I think it'd be better if the professionals did it. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that we could look at, so we say Rogers Lake / U.S. Department of Agriculture professionals to corn oil the eggs. We could ask them about possibly removing nests. Does that help? That once they know where the nests are, to remove them from that site?
They would know.
Yeah, because they're gonna find where the nests are. They say they know how to look for them. That guy,
I would imagine they'll know if it's beneficial to remove the nest.
yeah, they should know that. But they also, that Zach said they were quite sure, because we asked them, do you need a dog to find the nest? No, they know, they could spot the nest themselves. So, line them up for the spring for that part, not, at this point, not the roundup, not the killing of any geese, okay? And the other thing is to try this Flight Control Max on the grass at Haynes Park, and I will inquire with professionals, because we won't want non-professionals putting this on, and what the expense would be. But it's a pretty small area of grass. What do you think, how much grass do you think that grass, about a half acre or so? Not even that, I don't think. Is it? What do you think? I know it's a small piece. It's not like Talwood's Park.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, whatever it is. Yes, let's look into.
And I don't think any expense should negate doing any of these things, because we've spent $20,000-$30,000 a year in the past doing these things, and if this has to be included in the budget somehow, Martha said that she would work on including it, if we're gonna come up with a plan, which we're at the beginnings of a plan. Now, as far as expense is concerned, and bigger floats for swim lines, it's not gonna happen, Don, is it? No. We're not gonna, and a fence down at Haynes Park, I mean, it's not gonna work.
What'd you say about it?
It's not gonna last.
It's not meant to last. It's for like a 6-week period of like landscaping fence. But I don't think I appreciate where it might work or might not work, so I agree, we can probably try to
Backing
not
up,
do
without belaboring something we've been belaboring for over an hour.
Yeah.
I don't think removing nests, the experts might know more than I do, but I don't think removing the nests really would work, because it'll just build another nest and
Right, or somebody else will move
When
it.
you oil the egg, they sit on the egg, it just doesn't hatch.
Yes,
They haven't figured out that yet.
yeah.
Is oiling different or better than addling?
It's, I think it's deemed more successful.
Oiling it?
Oiling, because addling, you're relying on shaking it sufficient to destroy, whereas oiling, you can pretty much perceive that you've gotten sufficient coating to
Yeah,
suffocate.
as long as you boil the eggs enough,
That's
they
right.
can't get oxygen. So, and we should have people that know how much will fly.
Right.
Well, so Sarah will look into that, okay? And I don't think fencing is gonna last anywhere, even if you put up fishing lines, kids will just knock into it and tear it
What
down.
about swim lines that are bigger? No, that was a no for that too? Because they're expensive. But,
Well, we haven't
And
looked
they don't
into
cover the
pricing
wire.
them, but we don't know how big to get.
yeah, okay.
And a couple coyote cutouts, 2 or 3 maybe, and we can have Public Works or somebody move them every once in a while, just because if you don't move them, they don't work at all. From what I heard, you have to move them for a while, but they're eventually gonna learn that these are just fake. Yeah, but the coyotes probably be the best. They have I saw some really nasty looking ones with coyotes too, these things you can buy.
What about fountains?
Fountains, I don't know how many fountains you would need, probably at least for that for Haynes Park, at least 2 fountains. We can look into the pricing of a fountain.
We've already done that.
You've got the pricing for fountains?
I forgot to get there, but.
Yeah, or can
But it
you
was
send?
maybe $300 or $400.
That's all?
Yeah, it was not expensive. It's my memory of it. I'd be fine.
Okay, well, if you can maybe give us all
Yeah, I
that.
can send an email with.
Send us an email on fountains we could put out there that, but I also read that the fountains should be shut off in the winter because, it's better to have it, but we don't get bad winters here lately either.
Oh,
We don't
yeah.
get that much ice, but it's better to have ice out there.
They're like $400.
Okay, if you can distribute that and we can say we're gonna do that now.
And they're like solar based.
Now, if we can't get,
Oh, really?
if we can't get Martha to agree to find us some money to do a lot of this stuff right now, we couldn't do it until July 1, when supposedly we were getting some money.
Okay.
But,
Well, then that's a decision
We also
tomorrow
have-
we're gonna have to make.
We also have money in the Haynes Park. I'll go back to our report. We did suggest that costs be borne by the town, but I don't think, I mean, we could borrow against the fund. I also think it's within the spirit of the fund, which was to improve Haynes Park. And if we're gonna, yeah, but I mean, waiting until July could be fine, but I don't know. I guess maybe waiting until July is not that hard to do.
she said we're getting $30,000, but I will believe it when I say it. Did it all pass the town, and well, everything passed, right, with the budget?
As far as I know.
Yeah, okay. So, I think with the coyote cutouts, we should just go ahead and get those right away. Sharon, what do you think? Can't be more than a couple $100, and we can use the fundraising money, and if we get money, we can just reimburse that if we can get those right away.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is to attach this report from Bristol, who just went through all this, Connecticut. And like I said, there's nobody in Connecticut that does Roundup or euthanizes. We would be the first if we ever did that, which I would like
But
that.
Sarah, you did send information about Western Massachusetts and Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's here.
Oh, yeah, the person I talked to, he gave me a number of examples. I've summarized some of them.
It'll be right before you came in, I mentioned that you provided that one, and I thought this one was good,
I
and,
was just trying to see if Bristol did oil.
you can take a look.
Because if all the public outcry is about netting or whatever, then I'm surprised that those same people wouldn't care about oiling.
I look at it more as a form of birth control.
You do.
But look at what now it's happening nationally about birth control. Oh my God, I just can't believe it. I know. So there's always going to be people who are going to complain about something.
I mean, Bob, do we need to make a motion, or are we all set with what it is that we're gonna do?
Okay, well, did you write it down, Sarah? And we could just make a motion that we're going to do these things.
Sure, I captured some of it. It trailed off there at the last part. Yeah, it was the consensus, the four things we were just talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So it would be making a motion that we will do four things. Follow up with the USDA for a cooperative services agreement to explore the oiling for next year. Second, encourage the Rogers Lake Authority to contact island owners to facilitate USDA or Rogers Lake oiling on the islands. Third, follow up for more information on the Flight Control Max and consider using it at Haynes Park as a test case.
Yes.
Fourth, purchase with the Haynes Park Enhancement Fund 2 to 3 coyotes and 2 fountains, and reimburse as necessary with general funding.
Sounds good?
I,
Okay, that's the motion. Any discussion?
no.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No. Abstain? No. Okay. Moving on. Fees for out-of-town groups. I think last time you got, Don reported $75 an hour or something that someone was charging, or?
Well, I think what I think is that you can get an idea what other people do, but I think a decision has to be made by the Parks and Rec Commission as to what to charge for us, because there is more and more people daily want to use Townwoods Park. So, right now, they have rosters that got some kids from Lime or Old Lyme on them, but not the majority for sure. And I think that the Parks and Rec Commission needs to come up with a fee, no matter what it is, to apply to these people who want to use our stuff. Because they want to use our stuff because it's free and it's nice, and we're letting them.
The money that, or the fee that you saw for others?
So it was $75 an hour, is that right? Charging that?
I think it was 50 or 75 an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, an hour, okay. I was
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah, an hour, by the hour. Now, I would ask Brendan and Sarah, legally, do you think we can do that charge, because we do have, that those parks were supported by the STEEP grants, such that, that of course we could have priority system of who gets to use it, and that would be very low on the totem pole, or for priority to use it. But I don't know, I'm not so sure we could charge people to use it.
I'm not so sure either.
I have never researched the STEEP grant
My-
requirements,
Yeah,
but I'm happy to look into it.
I can tell you this, that when the lacrosse issue came up, it was either last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Lacrosse was gearing up for battle to come in here.
Right, I know that.
And so what they did was, they have a bunch of parents who are lawyers who called me prior to say, look, this is be prepared, this is what's happening.
Yeah,
They're nice about it, and part of what they were going to argue was the STEEP grant.
Right.
Now, I don't think I can't remember if we had a monetary thing attached to that or not. I don't recall.
No, we did not. In fact, we got it, Selectman got it, I got it, about how some lawyer from New London was inquiring about all this.
Yes, so it's a thing. I just, like Sarah, I don't know. So,
What were you referring to when what was being considered?
I don't think you might not have been on the commission.
Was it with relation to the scheduling of the use of it?
It was.
Or was it money-based, I guess?
Well,
was it fee for play?
No,
Okay.
No, it's not money.
So it's a different
It was
issue.
soccer and lacrosse arguing over
I remember that.
It was
I was here for that.
It was basically lacrosse people from Valley region used to volunteer fields they used. So if a third came from Valley, a third came from Old Saybrook, a third came from Lyme and Old Lyme, at least Old Saybrook and we were supplying fields. Valley used to when my kids were doing it.
Don, what is your thought on this? You think that we can charge with this?
I don't know what the rule is.
Yeah, okay.
I think, could we ask you to look into it, Brendan?
I mean, I can. I don't know how official it will be.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how accurate all the issue is. Because the STEEP grant, the language in that is immense. So,
Tell me about it.
yeah, I just, but yes, the short answer is yes, I can look into it.
Yeah, if you could just look into that, at least see if we might be able to charge for, because I'm sure just like the people in New London with lacrosse, the lawyer, I forget, I think he's somebody that lives around here, was starting to threaten that. Yeah, lives in Lyme, yeah. But anyway, yeah, if you could look into that, but I think, yeah, charging on an hourly basis would be the way to do it if we could charge.
I agree, I'm with Don.
I'm with
Is
you.
this-
Is there
Takes
any
clubs are
money
making-
involved with the schools? Steep grant money with schools?
Well, they get all types of grant money.
I'm just asking, the question is, do they get any steep grant money at the schools?
I
Because
don't-
they charge people to use their facilities.
I don't know if they ever got steep grant.
True.
They're
Also,
owners of property in Old just like the town of Old is owners of property in Old. And if they get steep grant money, they are charging people.
So maybe could you look into that too, Brendan?
Yes.
To see whether or not the
Good point, Don.
school ever got steep grant money. They've gotten lots of money from the state. So, yeah, if they could charge, then why couldn't we?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, okay, so, all right, that'd be great, Brendan, to look into that. And any other new business? Like at the last meeting, the day that Mike McGee and Sloan put on the safe kayak launch on a dock, it was removed. Don looked into it with the athletic director. Could you tell everybody what happened with that?
All I know is that the dock was removed by Paul Fuchs at a minimum, and he was talked to that he's not allowed to do that again.
Yeah, he should have never done it in the first place. In fact, we even worked it out with Chris McCauley, the president, that he shouldn't have done that. He's not allowed to do anything once he leaves that boathouse building in the park unless he confers with at least Don Bugby. So my suggestion would be that, Don, maybe you and I could talk to Chris again and have Chris notify Mr. Fuchs that he should put that back on the dock at the position that it was at, and if they want to use the extra float for another 7.5 feet, if they can get approval from Roger Lake Authority to add that to their dock, but he's not allowed. He's got to learn how to share, Mr. Fuchs, which those are town docks, and it's town property.
That's all fine, we got all that, so we don't have to kick that again, but I think you gotta find that, I'm not gonna speak for them now, but I think you're gonna find there's different opinions of whether that's a good idea to put them to the docks or not, that you're gonna have to adjust with those people.
Different opinions.
Why was the decision made to move them from where they were last year, which was just off the shore?
It's trying to make the swim area bigger.
The commission agreed to make the swim area bigger, and the commission agreed that safe kayak launch should be attached to the dock, which when Mike McGee first showed pictures of somebody getting into it, he had it attached to the dock. And there's no reason why it shouldn't be attached. I mean, you still have 3 sides of the docks for their 8s, but I just saw some people pulling in when I came here, two people to a boat and 1 person, and there's still plenty of room, even if you put this thing on for them to pull in. So, Don, can we arrange maybe you, myself, myself, and Chris to meet about this?
Okay, I'll make that arrangement.
Okay, and I would suggest that if Mr. Fuchs removed it, Mr. Fuchs is responsible to put it back at the position it was at. Everybody think that's reasonable?
Yeah, he took it off.
Sure.
Yeah, he took it off, he should put it back on, okay? All right, so, that's the new business. Any other new business? No?
I have 2 small items.
Okay, sure.
First, just revisiting the playground. Was that discussed before I was able to...
Playscape?
The playscape.
What about it?
Sorry about another Haynes Park item, not to be myopic.
Yeah.
But the playscape for Haynes Park, we didn't order it, but I wanted to at least get a motion together that we would order it to target installation in the fall. Because I think there was some discussion of I think when Martha was here, it was like, do we even install the playscape if we're not able to solve the goose? But it sounds like we have a long road haul to solve the goose
You're never
problem.
gonna solve the goose problem.
So I
out
don't-
here. You can
I don't-
mitigate it, but you're never gonna solve it.
So I've thought about this quite a bit. I don't think it makes sense to stop implementing enhancements. That's my personal opinion, to try to trudge forward, to try to make the park a place that people want to come. And if Fred mentioned a cleaning service is the other thing that we should, I'll put this in an email after the meeting, some later this week. A cleaning service, potentially, investigating that. But if we can try to do things that make the park hospitable to families.
I think we all
putting the
agree on
playground-
that, don't we?
Okay, but I just think we needed a formal action. To the extent we do, I would just make a motion that this commission authorizes the use of the funds that we've discussed in prior meetings and are allocated for the civic playground.
We already did that, Sarah.
I second.
I'll do it again, but didn't we do that? We told Don that the consensus was that please order it.
I wanted to revisit it only
That's
because.
right. Excuse me, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That's right, but if I remember and heard it correctly, Marcia said nothing's gonna happen at Haynes Park until the goose stuff is solved.
Well,
So, I'm just saying.
I think, Sarah, let's make a motion to do it now. It's our call.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead.
So I would move that the commission authorizes purchasing the playground with target installation in early fall.
Right.
And we'll connect with
Install.
Dave to order it.
I second.
Second, any more discussion? Hearing none, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Abstained? No. Okay,
And then one other small issue.
sure.
I spoke to Don about this, so I'll just be brief. Just at Cross Lane, there's just some TLC that could be used. So I was talking to some other folks in the community about potentially doing like a volunteer day. I recognize that Public Works is pretty thin. We need to order and put in new wood chipping. There's a number of areas where we need to repair trip hazards. There's some pieces on the landscape, and I can talk to Dave Catalano once I shore up with Don on how we pay for these things to replace like the swings in certain areas. And
This is-
generally weeding, because it's just in disrepair down at Cross
This
Lane.
is down at Cross Lane?
Correct, the playground at
Okay.
Cross Lane.
I thought they used synthetic material they
They
didn't use
did,
them.
and then some places, I took a bunch of pictures, I can
They
show
didn't
you
use the
after.
soft wood chips, I thought.
There
When
was
they first
wood chipping
installed it.
around, but then it's the composite, I don't know the name of it, the soft surface that's firm, like the rubber.
Yeah, it's like hard rubber stuff.
Hard
It's a hard rubber surface.
Yes.
Kinda.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so in any case, I just wanted to put this out to the group that I plan to follow up with some folks who used to work with the Lemons League who were involved in putting in the playgrounds, who have some connections. Little League may they'll have like their season, there may be events, depending on
I think
who's
Missy
authorized to use the field at
would
that
be a
time.
good
And it would
one
just
to
be
talk
good to get
to.
it back looking sharper.
I
for
think
the
Missy would
summer.
be a good one to,
Yeah, so
both
I'll
you
work
and
with you
Missy,
as well.
maybe,
Yeah.
put something together, because Missy was part of that.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been able to connect with her. I've reached out, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, right? Go ahead, right, guys? Consensus? Yeah, of course, just go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, anything else? Correspondence, there was no correspondence that I received. Public comment, is anyone out, or there's no one here for public comment? Anybody in telephone land, public comment? Hearing none. Motion to adjourn with the next meeting will be Thursday, August 1st, because July 4th is a holiday, and that's when our Thursday meeting was scheduled for. Unless anyone has a burning desire to have some sort of special meeting that I haven't heard about yet, our next meeting will then be Thursday, August 1st. So a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Abstained? None. Okay, good. It's, what time is it? 7:48. Okay, and I'm gonna turn off this.